Hello and welcome to Weston Indoor Sports in the ACT, home of your national champion ACT Rockets. My name is Chris Griffin and I'm joined here by WBBL Melbourne Renegades player, former Australian women's player and current men's NICL player here in the ACT, Claire Koski. How are you?
Well, thanks, Chris. How are you?
Not too bad. Now, I'm a little bit excited here because the matchup that we have for the first game, both teams are currently undefeated. So it's not something we expected after the Wolves and the Assassins had been in the final for the past 2 years here in the ACT. But this is an important game first up here.
Yeah, very much so. I think, especially when it comes to the start of the season, you really want to start off strong, and that's what the Conquerors have done. They're 2 from 2 so far, and I believe the Jaguars have only had 1 so far. But yeah, there's definitely been some changes in this season, as Southern Cross Cricket have now put in 2 teams, and you can see that in the Conquerors and then also in the Assassins. So it's definitely changed things, that, like I guess the makeup a bit, and so it'll be interesting to see how this season goes.
Okay, well I'm going to take you through the team lineups here. Captaining the Jaguars here, batting first is Jake Flores, Billy Flores, Preston Hart, Daniel Osher comes in late for the injured Rod May, John Harris, Owen Leving, Sam Dwyer and James Dyer. And for the Conquerors, we have Alex Kwong, Brad Kwong, Phil Marchant, Francis Mason, Captain Brock Winkler, Jason Hayes, Nathan Douglas and Ryan Hayes. And at the back of the court, we have Kyle Hyson taking the ball first up, bowling to Preston Hart. Delivery onto the offside, down up 2 over the offside there. Good, nice start there for Preston.
Yeah, and for those wondering about Rod May, yesterday he was celebrating a wicket and held his ankle on a ball.
Doing a Glenn McGrath celebration. Leg side delivery there from Hyson. Hyson is a current ACT under 15s player, so a big call up here playing against some very, very experienced players.
Yeah, and you can see quite a few teams now are having the young ones come through.
Down and up on the offside, just for 1 there.
We actually have Zach Marin made his debut last night, and that was very exciting for him. I think he saw the bit of a jump between junior and opens.
Yeah, Zach Marin. Also, I believe he's 14, playing under 15s as well, but very talented kids that the ACT are looking to develop here.
Yeah, and he held his own last night, and although a couple of mistakes were made, at least he got a taste for it, and he's going to have a bright future.
That's the first wicket there. That's a big wicket for Kyle, and massive celebrations for the Conquerors as they look to get on top early. That leaves us with 1 ball left in the first over. Jaguars yet to score. A good delivery there, really well bowled, putting Preston under pressure, attacking the stumps, and that's the over.
Fantastic start for the Conquerors. That's exactly what they'd be after, and especially with the young one getting out the first over out of the way, they'd be very happy with the 0.
Yeah, nerves out early, very good for the young ones. As we see young to older, I won't say old before Francis Mason, but one of our Masters players.
I'll let him know that later.
Yeah, I will do. One of the friendliest cricketers you'll ever meet. He's recently making a comeback. He's going away for the ACT and the Masters for the over 40s this year. Former ACT Rocket. Let's see what Frankie has as we come into the second over. That's a terrific delivery, big in-swinging delivery. Started outside off and managed to miss leg. That's a beautiful start.
And it's one of the beauties of indoor cricket is that the indoor ball does move a lot more.
So now we've got a 3rd ball situation here, so the score must change, either via a wicket or a run scored or a wide or a no ball. Good pick up there from Kyle, down to the ground, very difficult, keeps it to just 1. Another big in-swinging delivery. Preston unable to get the ball away.
So a lot of the Rockets have their playing numbers, well, their selection numbers on the back of their shirts. Is that the same for Francis, with number 60?
Yep, number 60, and I think the last number that was given out was 105, so that shows how long ago it was, but very capable player. Down and up on the leg side there for Preston Hart, who's pulled up a bit short here, limping, but it is notable that all these players had to play last night at Canberra for the second round of our competition here.
And the Rockets also had training this morning. So
the work never stops. Down and up, down the middle of the court. One ball remaining. Conquerors with a good solid start here, Claire.
Yeah, I think they're quite a good, solid and disciplined team. That's how I've seen it over the first 2 games that I've seen them play and their start today. So I think that's going to suit them well for the rest of this match so far.
It's a good shot there, down up on the leg side, John Harris. That's the end of the over. 5 runs to the Jaguars after 2 overs.
Bit of mayo there from Brad Kwong.
Yeah,
he's a young lad. Surely you could pick that up without rolling.
There's a bit of a unnecessary dive there for Brad Kwong, but we'll let him get away with that one.
Why?
So for the NICL this year, you would have seen all 4 teams in action in the past 2 years. The Conquerors are new to the competition. They're replacing the team that used to be the Panthers. As you mentioned earlier, Claire, Southern Cross Cricket and Sportsman's Warehouse have looked after 2 teams. That's the Assassins, which is your side, and they've now recently brought in the Conquerors. So it's a good change, and the competition has evened up a bit, I feel, from what I saw last night, as Phil Marchant comes on to bowl. Full and wide, just sneaks in the inside line, dot ball.
Yeah, and I think 3 probably notable changes would be Brad Thomas, who isn't able to be here tonight, Brock Winkler and Jason Hayes.
Close. Direct hit would have had him. Right.
They last year played for the Assassins, and then to obviously make sure that the teams are pretty evenly spread, they've made way and gone to the Conquerors. So a couple of people need to really step up in the Assassins now.
Yep. Brock Assassins in the first year and played in North Queensland. As we get a run out on the leg side, great fielding there. Just quick movement, a bit stylish, I would say, on the leg side, and that brings the Jaguars back down to 1 run.
And that was fantastic for bowling to your field. They do have the 2 on the leg side, and they literally bowled straight into the knee. It was flicked to the side, as we all know that leg side down ups are a little bit more difficult. And perfect fielding there from Brock.
Straight into that leg side again, and there's another dismissal. As you said earlier, Claire, perfect game plan. Disciplined bowling, not bowling for your field, not for the stumps, and they've been able to execute another run out.
And very calm from Brock then. I think he probably would have known that the boys would have been a little bit more aware and they might not have run on that. But yeah, very, very clever and good, obviously, communication in the front court so he can know where to throw.
Marchant comes in, another dot ball. This is a good over here from Phil. He's built the pressure coming around the wicket and wide of the crease, out-swinging delivery, so it does come into your knee, into the leg side, a little bit more indirectly. Missed his aim there, outside off, down and up on the offside. And that is the over. Jaguars find themselves in negative here, Claire.
And the Conquerors are right on top. You can feel it. Within the centre, there's actually a lot of energy with the Conquerors. And I think the big thing is and I saw it last night in our game as well, is that people are starting to panic now when they're getting these run-outs because it starts putting doubt in between, like in the batting pair. And so instead of trusting their calls and trusting their communication with each other, they start to question that. And that's when the extra wickets come about, and it's kind of like a snowball. It just keeps compacting, and it can be really dangerous. So they'll need to work hard.
As Alex Kwong comes into bowl. And as you said before, that bit of confusion, that bit of doubt, that could be very evident just there. And I guess that's why you have a lot of partnerships that bat together for so long. They don't mix and match. It's just so they can get used to each other's movements, their body language, and their way of communicating.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that is a terrific delivery from the man they affectionately call Dog, Alex Kwong. He is a dangerous, dangerous bowler, and not many that you would rather have the ball in the hand in the 4th over here as the Jaguars move down to -8.
And they're hitting the spot every single time. Sometimes you have people that, might hit the spot for one ball, but then stray on the next ball, and they're just consistently hitting good spots here.
as they sneak one down there to the leg side. It's all about rebuilding here for the Jaguars, and there's a lot of pressure coming on the next pair.
Yeah, there sure is, and I think the thing is to know that even though they're -7 at the moment, the thing they need to do is build some momentum for the next pair. So forget about the scoreboard and start looking at getting some energy back for their team.
Played into the leg side flat. Brock Winkler, he is having a significant impact, and he hasn't even taken the ball in hand yet.
I'd be very tempted to put the second person over to leg side. He's just got it on a string at the moment and is hitting their kneecap and their hip. So, although Brock is a very talented fielder on that side.
Yeah, Brock, two-time player of the match in Nationals finals. So he's certainly a talented player to have in your side and captaining your side for the Conquerors. As Alex Kwong bowls a leg side delivery there, which will be re-bowled by the Jaguars.
Tight call there, but I think you'll find that Andy Hall de Villiers will call that well the whole night. It'll be the same for all four teams.
Full delivery, attacking the stumps. Fumble at the back from Brad Kwong, unable to execute the run out. You mentioned Andrew Hall de Villiers. Andrew is certainly an umpire of some high standard that the ACT are very lucky to have. He has umpired the World Cup final, umpired the Nationals final last year, and best of luck to Andy and the addition of the run-out camera that we have here, and I hope he has a good call today. Down and up on the leg side there, a little bit of traffic on the way through, and that'll see the Jaguars finish at -3. Claire, your thoughts?
Yeah, on that last ball, Alex actually bowled a change-up ball, and I thought that was a little bit strange considering they were very much on top. I would have just kept swinging it in and trying to hit him in the hit, and I think that's although they Jaguars don't have the momentum at the moment, it is a little bit of a mental break that if you hit a really nice leg side down up like that, it can take a little bit of energy away from your team. But knowing Brock at the moment, I'm sure he's really hyping the boys up and saying let's stay on top and keep the momentum in our favour.
And coming out to bat now is, I believe it's Jake Flores and Sam Dwyer. So Jake is a former Rocket, the captain of the side, and Sam Dwyer is a current Rocket. So it's a pretty strong batting pair here. We'll see how they go as young Brad Kwong, one of the under-21s ACT players, takes the ball at the back of the court.
I'll be interested to see how Jake bats today. He very much has the ability to hit those down-ups, but he does love to hit the back net as well. So
he certainly does.
I think, considering the circumstances, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes early on to hit those back nets.
Yeah. We'll see as Brad Kwong comes in for the first delivery of the second pair. And a good start there into the body. Bowling to that field, Brad Kwong. For those at home who don't have the knowledge, Brad Kwong is the son of Alex Kwong, who bowled the previous over. Short ball just below and caught. Certainly surprised Sam Dwyer there. He wasn't ready for that. I think his weight was a little bit forward, expecting a fuller delivery.
Yeah, and I think, there are questions about how high that was, and I think that was definitely below the shoulders, so fantastic call there from Andy. And really good setup. I actually am interested to see what this next ball would be. I would bowl another bouncer, but we'll see.
See what Brad Kwong has for us in his third delivery. Full attacking the stumps, outside off. Sam sort of gets away with one there. Looks like a nice down up from the ball.
That was a fantastic down up.
Yep, inside edge down up. So for Marty Bennett, if he's watching, that's the Marty Bennett down up here in the ACT. As it brings Jake Flores on strike.
So with the two on leg side, it's either going to be quite short or he's really going to be trying to hit him in the hip. And I think that's very smart when it comes to Jake.
Yeah, full outside off, unable to execute. Great fielding there on the offside from his father, Alex Kwong. Almost executes a run out.
Tell you what, he's hit that almost too well, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's always dangerous, isn't it, if you hit the down up too well, it doesn't hang up in the net for too long. That is an errant delivery there down the leg side. He really tried to push that one through after the success of the first bouncer. Last delivery here for the Brad Kwong over. Outside off, down and up. Terrific shot there. Gave him way too much width. There's 2 runs to the Jaguars as they look to rebuild here.
and that'll give them a lot of confidence. You know, Jake has just hit a really nice down up, albeit a little bit too hard. And then Sam has just hit a really nice down up as well. So I think they'll take confidence in that. And then I think probably now is the time where Jake is going to look to try and dominate and get his team back on track.
We talked earlier about looking to attack those legs and bring the field into play. Francis Mason's coming to the back of the court for his second over. We saw big swinging deliveries, trying to make the best use of that new ball. So we'll see if he's able to attack the hip and bring that leg side field into play. Oh, Jake nearly caught being lazy down there at the keeper's end. Got a bit inside and out there, Sam, trying to play it with the in-swing delivery, but one run.
And perhaps a little bit of inexperience there by Kyle, and not understanding that you need to be urgent in everything you do.
Finishing the play is always the priority on the field. Another big in-swing delivery, driven hard there by Jake Flores.
And fantastically fielded by Brad there. That would have been a very difficult one, as when he was taking it was quite close to the net. So he's done really well there, but I think that shows the intent that Jake will have from now on. He actually stepped out a little bit to try and give himself some room.
And Brad Kwong, a big fella at the back of the net. Good athletic movement there. Matt Anderson on the Facebook feed asking for him to have a smaller shirt. I'm not sure we want to have that happen, Matt, but... yeah, he's certainly a big fella.
I think we're at danger at ripping this shirt as it is.
Driven straight back down the pitch. Brad Kwong fields the ball. Good over here from Francis. Probably not getting too much luck, but I would say that this pair's looking to attack him with these deliveries. So if he continues to bring these stumps into play, it might be a case of you miss, I hit here. Worked flat into the leg side there for no run.
And this will be a third ball.
Big moment here, third ball situation with one ball left in the over. Hit hard, and that is one way to get off a third ball delivery, Claire Koski. Jake Flores with a massive 7. That is a momentum swing just there.
It absolutely is, and I had a feeling that this was going to happen. Jake needed to take the momentum back, and as the captain, he's really stepped up for that. And the thing is that this is part of his natural game. He's not going away from what he can do, and that's probably a really good decision to send him in at second after the first pair had a bit of trouble.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll have a bit of a longer talk here in the middle, because this is a key moment here of the Conquerors where the momentum will change. So it'll be interesting to see who they choose to bowl here.
And no real surprise that it's Jason Hayes. He's very talented and very disciplined and experienced. The whole fellow is actually incredibly talented for his age, and no offence to him, he's still a young gun. Yeah. But yeah, he's incredibly talented and someone that you definitely want to have in these sort of situations.
Yeah, Jason Hayes, ACT and Australian over 40s men's player. He bowls quite quick, full and straight at the stumps, has a great off-cutting delivery which gets a lot of jump. We'll see how he goes here as he takes the ball in the 7th over. And there it is, full and straight at those stumps. He does not leave anything to chance. As someone personally, Claire, who I enjoy watching bowl, and I'm really interested to see this little battle here for this over.
Yeah, very much so, and I've probably enjoyed playing alongside him more than I ever have against him. So.
Jake looks to free up the arms and step across, unable to find the back of the court.
So I think to Sam here, Jace will probably try and hit him in the hip, set him up for a run out down the bottom. But then to Jake, I think he's probably going to try and change it up, make sure that it's not in his arc to try and hit to the back net, and probably look for a couple of cutters and possibly even bounces just to get him out of being able to hit the back net.
Oh, big swinging delivery there. That is a terrific ball, beating him outside off. That shows just how much those indoor cricket burley balls move.
Yeah, and Jason has a fantastic skill of being able to change it from an in-swinger to an out-swinger without much difference in his arm position. Most of it's from his wrist.
Oh, that's a terrific delivery there. That's the sarcastic appeal for LBW. For those not familiar with indoor cricket, leg before wicket is a rule here in indoor cricket. But if you are playing a shot, you are not able to be appealed for there. So only if the ball is left is LB a possibility.
I'm going to say, I'm going to throw a prediction. I think this might be a cutter. Looking at the way Jason's holding it, I think I might be... Oh, he's bowling an outswinger. Thanks, Jason.
That's a good over here, but the Jaguars, this pair, sneaking their way to 18. This is a good comeback here for them.
Yeah, and something that they dearly needed, especially with one over the remaining. They probably need to be at least 25 or above, and I think Jake will probably be thinking 30 and above.
And leg side as he misses his marks. Frustrated groan from Jason Hayes as we enter the last over of the second pair here, Claire.
And even though, you know, he did go for only 4 runs, I think, you know, they will be extremely happy with that. Jason will probably be a bit miffed with himself, but that has taken the momentum back a little bit, and they've realised that they can put Jake in a position where he can't hit the back net, and I think that's the best way to go about it. Yeah,
and as we see the experience of Brock Winkler here. Now, I was talking to Sam Dwyer last night, and I asked him who's the one bowler that you don't like facing amongst the ACT. And ironically, he said Brock Winkler. So this is a matchup coming into this that I was expecting to see. And we'll see if Brock's variance and deliveries, I think he's got about 7 or 8.
Oh, it looks like a bouncer might be one of those.
We'll see what he produces as he's bowling to Sam for this first ball. Sam plays him very well, down and up over the offside. Brock missing his mark there.
Just a little bit too short for that line. And it was a cutter, so he's going to get a little bit of extra bounce on that. But as I said, probably just a little bit too short.
And this will be a good battle here between Jake Flores and Brock Winkler as well. An aggressive player with someone who moves the ball in a variance of ways. Beat him for a lack of pace there, Brock, and Brock's laughing. Jake's also laughing.
I think everyone here's laughing.
We'll talk to Brock about that because Brock will be our commentator for the next game while you're playing, Claire. So we'll see what he was thinking there and what happened there. Just bringing that leg side field into play with some good bowling there.
And I think it's a really good move. Brock seems to be taking the pace off the ball to Jake all the time. And I think that's a pretty good thing to do because when you're trying to hit the back net, you generally want a little bit more pace on. So fantastic bowling and a third ball here. I dare say he'll probably have a change up again as well.
Close chance there, but Sam Dwyer all the way through as they get the 1 run, as they build some momentum towards this third batting pair, Claire.
And I think after how this over is started already, they'll look to either keep 25 and above and, you know, really look to have a stable base for the next pair coming in.
There it is. Sam Dwyer also getting in on the party with a 7. I don't think he's allowed to say that he doesn't like facing Brock anymore.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot, and he didn't really create that out of nowhere. It was right in the slot for him to play that shot and didn't overplay it. And now they're in a fantastic position.
Yeah, we talked about 30, and I think they'll be quite happy with this if they survive this ball. Big appeal. As Andrew Horvillers says, it's clipped the leg. 30 runs for that pair as we look at the replay for the decision just there.
Yeah, and I think it was a good call, and even then I still believe it probably would have been in the line, but tight call, and it's, yeah, they've got to be made.
We talked about the young players. 2 young players we haven't talked about here are Owen Levings and Daniel Osher as they come out to bat. Daniel Osher, a late call-up for an injured Rod May, as we said, did the Glenn McGrath and tripped on a cricket ball. And Owen Levings, a very talented bat. It should be interesting to see what pressure the Conquerors try to put on this young and inexperienced pair.
Yeah, and I think they'll probably try and go for the big guns up early. You know, Brad's got a little bit of extra pace, so it will be good to see him trying to attack these kids. They are quite young, and is this Brad's Osher's first
Yep,
game
this is
in
Daniel
NRCL?
Osher's first game in the NRCL. Yeah. As he said, 24 hours notice, and here he is. So we'll see how he goes with everyone watching around Australia as Brad comes in for his first ball. Down and up, but flattish on the offside. Big Alex Kwong, tall, menacing. cover fielder, not able to get over the top there. That is a terrific shot from Owen Levings. Great hands.
That's a beautiful shot, and especially one that's quite full like that, to be able to get it up at that elevation, but then also not to come down too hard afterwards. That was a fantastic shot, and he'll take a lot of confidence from that.
As you saw in the replay, he just gets his hands across there. Not too much foot movement, but great hands. Wide delivery there, called by Andrew Horuz. Good, nice start for Osher.
Yeah, you always like to have a wide first up, just give yourself a chance.
For those not familiar with indoor cricket, wides and no balls, 2 runs in this game, not the 1. Beats him outside off. Osher moving his feet straight down the pitch and not getting across there.
Yeah, and perhaps a little bit of nerves. You know, Brad might be bowling a little bit quicker than what he's used to. He does look a little hesitant down there, but that's okay.
That's full in behind the gap there on the leg side. I think it might have just clipped the back of his heel as he brings up a 3rd ball situation for Osher.
And that's not what you really want to have your first over coming in and your first 3-4 balls face and you're on a 3rd ball. But
he attacks that, just plays his natural game, driven hard and good for Osher to get some contact on the ball on bat.
And not a terrible start for the boys. I mean, they probably felt like they weren't on top in that over because there was that 3rd ball, but to come out, and I think they got 7 off that over, that's a pretty good start, and they'll take confidence from that.
Yeah, that's definitely it, Claire. Now, as we look towards this innings, what do you think's a suitable total for to be defended here?
I think, all things considered, we're looking around the 60 to 70 mark in an ICL in Canberra these days. You know, the teams are very good at defending now. And I think, you know, especially with the Conquerors, they've got a really strong batting outfit. So I think they probably need to get up towards 70 to have a really good shot.
As Ryan Hayes comes in for his first over. Bit of traffic down the middle of the court. Osher finds his way there. Ryan Hayes, we had 2 father-son combinations in this team. Ryan Hayes, the son of Jason Hayes, and you'll see Tyler Hayes as well in action in your team, so that's also Jason's son. So
yeah,
it's family connection. Yeah, family connection here in the ACT.
The Flores, the Hayes, the Kwongs.
Yeah. Plenty of them, and plenty of them at the junior level as well.
One thing that's been quite evident so far is that these young boys actually have very good communication with each other, and they've obviously played a lot of junior cricket together. And I think perhaps the first pair probably need to look to this and maybe take note.
Yeah, that's certainly the case. They've communicated well so far. Let's hope they maintain it. Down and up there on the leg side to get Owen Levings off strike. And you can feel that momentum change a little bit. They're not as loud and proud, the Conquerors, so far, but 1 wicket might bring that back. Yeah. Osher will be very happy with that, down and up. Not too high up on the net there, but able to get 2 runs.
And a lovely shot. That'll give him some confidence going into this next ball. And I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Kyle come back on. He's played, obviously, a lot of cricket against these kids, so I reckon he might come back on, and with his swing, he might cause a bit of issues.
Yep. Down and up. Good call there. Daniel Osher calling him through. It's 1 more run to the total.
I'm not sure if it's evident on the broadcast, but Ryan Hayes, I believe, is bowling cross seam at the moment.
Yep. Always a bit of a danger depending on where that lands. One might shoot through, and there's a wicket there. Great fielding on the leg side, and that's a bit of momentum there for the Conquerors.
I think that was a really good call from Owen Levings. I mean, he knew straight away that there was no run, but it's just, I think sometimes when you've got a ball like that and you get bat onto it, you kind of think, okay, yeah, I can get through. But that's okay. You know, that's a learning curve for Dan Osher, and I'm sure he'll learn from it.
And that's Brock Winkler on the leg side again. Absolutely terrific. He is having a significant impact on this game in the field.
Yeah, and it's been great to see last night. Brad Thomas actually had an absolute ripper in the field, and they haven't really missed a beat with him gone at the moment. He's having fun at Grooving the Mill at the moment.
Yes.
So if he listens back to this, BT, you're fine without you, mate.
So yes, there is a significantly large music festival happening while we're here in Weston Indoor Sports. As Phil Marchant comes to the bowl. Phil had a very good first over. Let's see if he's able to replicate that here to this young pair. Played flat into the leg side. Tight call there for Andrew Hall-Villiers. And he's actually affected the camera we have down there, so he certainly committed to making his ground. Oh, that is a good delivery there from Phil Marchant.
Nice change of pace.
Yeah, Osher looking to come down and drive hard like he had earlier in this pair, and Phil very unlucky not to clean him up there.
That was a great ball, and just have the thought of mind to be able to change up that ball and then to
there it is,
bowl
yes.
the quicker one straight at the stumps again.
Same game plan, and then there's the execution. Really well bowled from Phil Marchant. He's having a terrific spell here.
Yeah, I think that's really clever, knowing that Dan is obviously wanting to try and make a bit of an impact and maybe hit that the back net, and then to change up from a slower ball to a quicker ball that's full at the stumps. That was really good thinking.
Played flat there on the offside. Good pickup and good fielding there from young Kyle Hyson, but unable to execute the run out.
So as you can see, the Conquerors have the momentum back now, and I think that's really going to cause some issues for the Jaguars. I mean, they do have a pretty experienced pair coming in last, but there's only so much you can do when the momentum has been taken away from you.
And it'll be an interesting choice to see who they have bowl the final over of this pair as well, as Phil comes in for his final delivery. And a dot ball there. You always love a bowler who gives you a dot ball as you take the ball. So doing his teammates justice, Phil Marchant finishes with 3 for -7. That is some terrific bowling.
And it looks like Alex Kwong coming back to bowl.
No rest for the wicket here. The young pair of Daniel Osher and Owen Lemmings back under the pump here with the experience of Alex Kwong.
And you really want to try and dominate them in this circumstance here. You know, you've got this next pair coming in. You're already on top of this pair, so let's take them a little bit deeper and make sure that, you know, the next pair coming in have that pressure already on them.
And we see Alex Kwong look for 2 on the offside there. So that might be a different bowling tactic there. He might try and attack the off stump and get him driving here. Oh. All ends up there, young Daniel Osher.
He's done well to stay in there.
He has done very well to stay in as we look at the replay, something that Daniel won't want to watch when he gets back. He has stayed in there, and it is a 3rd ball delivery now for Alex Kwong. Oh, that is a terrific shot from a young man there, down and up over the offside. That is a great 3rd ball shot.
And Alex seems to be bowling some cutters, and I think that ball is just a little bit too short and advertised a little bit too much. So Dan played that really well, especially under pressure.
Flat over to the offside, and there is a run out. There is that offside field coming into play. Some great fielding as the Conquerors take another run out there.
That was fantastic fielding. He did the right thing and made sure that his service was great, even though I don't believe he actually needed it in the end. But just the fact that the front court have been taking pretty much every single opportunity so far today, it really puts the pressure on.
Yeah. And as you say, service. So service is slang term here for giving good deliveries into the keeper, so they're able to make a play for those inexperienced indoor cricketers watching.
And nice little bit of use of the swing there, as he has been bowling cutters for the first 3 balls so far. And then to see that nice in-swing into the right-hander.
Edged on the offside. Owen Lemmings, quick as a whippet, gets down there. 1 run to the Jaguars.
They'll definitely be looking to try and finish with at least a nice down up 2 or 3 here, and try and save a little bit of face here.
good solid down and up, only for one there, but that'll see the Jaguars finish for 7 or 6, I believe, for the pair, and 7 it is, sorry, for a young pair in their first live stream game. I think that's okay as they head into the final pair with the experienced James Dyer and Billy Flores.
Yeah, I think they'll probably be happy with the way they fought throughout it. Sometimes it's best not to look at the scoreboard because it doesn't always tell the full story, but they did fight very hard and they worked well together, had good communication, even though there was a couple of run-outs. But you can attribute that to fantastic fielding in the front court.
Yeah, so big pair here for both sides. So we want to talk about having a roughly 60 or 70. It's going to have to be a big pair, much like the second from Billy Flores. Very, very, very experienced player. As former Australian assistant coach, current ACT Rockets coach. So he certainly knows these players well as young Kyle Hyson comes on to bowl.
And Billy can hit the back net pretty well as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it every now and then.
Right, inside edge there. Very good start there for young Kyle Hyson. Oh, that is an incredible ball.
That's really well bowled, and it's great to see a youngster having the guts to throw one up there and use the swing, and he's just done Billy all the way then.
Yeah, making use of the base of those stumps there. Great delivery from Kyle Hyson.
And Conquerors are completely on top at the moment, and that'll only lift their team even more, especially when a youngster does something like that.
Outside off beats him. It's 3 balls without a run scored, and this is not what the Jaguars want. It'll be interesting to see how they come back here because they're going to need a sizable total to defend.
Yeah, Brad's just making me crack up here. A couple of unnecessary dives.
There it is. They're off their mark for this pair.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Jaguars when they come into field and bowl. They're going to definitely have to be on top of it from the very get-go.
Attacked, driven straight down the middle of the pitch for no run.
I think the hard thing is you kind of need to forget how you've gone with the bat. You need to just focus on making sure that you start with a lot of energy early on and are as clean as you possibly can be. Played
into the leg side, call it no. Easy run out there. James Dyer just looking to run after making contact. And that is a terrific, terrific over from Kyle Hyson.
So quite often when we're talking about good communication between batters, it's not so much about the voice call as it is the eye contact. And as you can see, James Dyer there actually just watching the ball as he's hit it right into the corner of the net. Obviously you want to watch the ball onto the bat, and that caused a bit of miscommunication when it comes to calling between the wickets.
Ryan Hayes here coming in for his second over. Down and up in the leg side flat. Bit of a chance, but they managed to get through. And we talked about Phil Marchant having 3 for -7. Kyle Hyson's final figures with 3 for -9. So best bowler in the match so far. Great stuff from the young player.
And he'll take a lot of confidence from that going into his batting. You know, I think he had a little bit of trouble last night with his batting, but that'll definitely give him a bit of a boost.
Short delivery. Not got onto quite well. Played flat into the leg side. Gets away with it though.
Jason's not too happy with himself, missing out on opportunity there. He holds very high standards for himself in the field.
Yeah, Jason Hayes, not many better leg guard fielders going around in the ACT. He is incredible.
It's like Billy expected that to kind of slide down and just kind of held its line then.
2 balls remaining in the Hayes over here. Inside edge.
You see Billy trying to get on top of Ryan there, using his feet and get into a position to try and hit the back net. Perhaps just lifting his head slightly.
Into the hip, well bowled. And that's a dot ball to finish. Jaguars on -4 for this pair, 30 overall. And we see some comments here from Tom about the state of the court here at Weston Indoor Sports. It was redeveloped 2 years ago, I believe. Weston Indoor Sports, here in the ACT, we play a franchise model in the NICL, but Weston itself has produced 4 of the current Australian men's players. So a lot of talent coming out of this centre as Jason Hayes follows up his son, taking the ball here in the 15th over. Jason Hayes and Billy Flores played a lot of cricket against each other here, so this will be a good little battle as a third ball arrives for the Jaguars.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of a change up this ball. I mean, I would, but it looks like it's going to be a regulation outswinger.
Full and quick it is. Terrific shot there on the offside. Outside off attacked. Dyer makes it through.
So there's still momentum with the Conquerors at the moment, and they've got really good voice at the moment, which is really good to see, and this will be really comforting going into their batting.
Great delivery there from Jason Hayes into the legs of Billy Flores. As you can see, the Conquerors starting their clapping pattern. It's something very, very well known for the ACT. It's not something I ever knew that other states didn't do until it was brought to my attention a few years ago. Another good delivery there from Jason Hayes. Outswinging delivery, working into the legs.
And he can make the ball move really, really well.
Third ball opportunity here again as we second last over of this pair and this innings. Oh, that was something that was a little bit premeditated there, I would say, obviously from Billy Flores. But Jason Hayes, just before delivering that ball, talked to Brad Kwong and said, "Get ready." If anyone saw that on the live stream, so he knew that he was going to get attacked before he even let go of the ball.
And Brad Kwong having a good effort to try and keep that off, but unfortunately just hooking it back onto the back net there.
Yeah, we see the replay of Billy coming down and attacking, and Brad Kwong probably getting his footwork wrong a little bit there at the back court, but it did shoot down, so it would have been a very difficult chance for him to take as Brock Winkler takes the ball in the last over here. Big last over here for both sides. Brock Winkler, as we said, very hard to get away. We'll see if Billy Flores looks to come down the pitch and attack him as well. Oh, full delivery. Had Billy Flores all ends up there. As we go to the replay to just have a look at that again. Oh, very close to a dismissal there. Should it all have been taken cleanly?
Brock's very talented at knowing when to use his change-ups.
Good from Brock Winkler there, just leaving the ball for his back net fielder. Very difficult to field on the back net if your bowler looks to get involved.
Yeah, it can be, and some people are probably wondering why he didn't go for it. But as you said, it makes it very difficult when your bowler goes for the ball, and especially on a spinning ball like that. So a good decision from Brock there.
That's full, quick and wide. James Dyer unable to get to the delivery. Good change up again there from Winkler.
And great hands behind the stumps. Those are not easy to pick up. Down and up there on the offside. Nice shot to get off strike.
And you were talking about what the Jaguars had to do. They have to in the field. They're going to have to come out and they're going to have to come all guns blazing and look to take wickets and play aggressive cricket. So it should be interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah, and I think probably the key thing when there you said take wickets, and some people might think that it's all about the bowlers taking wickets, but it's more about bowling into the place where your fielders are going to get the ball and execute those run-outs. So I think that's really key is don't always look to try and bowl them or get them caught. Make sure that your fielders are in the right position, bowl to that, and then get the run-outs. Yeah. Final ball here from Brock.
It's full and wide, still inside the wide line, and that is the end of the innings for the Jaguars, finishing on 41.
I think the Jaguars would be really disappointed with their performance with the bat today. I think they've struggled a little bit, and I think the Conquerors have been on top for most of it, and they've continued that momentum. And I think they're going to come out all guns blazing in this one. Yeah,
so it really did start with that opening pair there of Preston Hart and John Harris. They are unable to get any runs on the board, -3. Any other takeaways from that first innings, Claire?
I think the big thing is the fielding and making sure that when you are bowling, you're not bowling too short. Make sure you're trying to hit them in that hip if that's what your plan is going to be. And then making sure your fielders are actually doing the right job. As you saw, Brock in the front court and Alex Kwong on the other side, they did a fantastic job. Every time that they got an opportunity, I think about probably 90% execution. And that's the big thing. Often you'll see opportunities created, but they haven't been taken. So with a young field, I'm interested to see how these guys will go, and then also how they're going to bowl, what their plans are going to be. But they're definitely going to have a very hard task. But, it's indoor cricket, anything's possible. Yeah,
and as we said at the start of the broadcast, both teams currently undefeated, missing a few players on both sides, but somebody's O's got to go. So I'm just going to have a few shout-outs here. I'd just like to thank our broadcast partner, Sportscast, official broadcast partner of the NICL. Those lovely yellow balls you see running around the court, proudly brought to you by Burley, official ball supplier of the NICL. For those who are tuning in and are interested in playing indoor cricket, visit playcricket.com.au, and to find your nearest centre, all you've got to do is put in your postcode or any suburb you live in, and it'll give you the information you need. And after the matches, you'll hear from us here at the ACT, talk to both captains on the Yellow Ball podcast to catch up on all the news of indoor cricket throughout the season with Gary Lowe. I know Gary's following here and watching keenly. So a good little initiative there, starting up this year. This will be the second episode, I believe. As the Conquerors come out to bat here with Phil Marchant, and I'm not too sure who's down the other end. Francis Mason, sorry. Experienced pair opening up again here, so they'll have to make the most of it here, Jaguars, and stay on top to start well.
And I think the message would be is that we don't need to do anything extravagant when it comes to batting. They probably need to look at just really getting up and down between the wickets, make sure you're hitting those solid down-ups, and create a situation where you don't have to win this game in the last pair. They probably want to finish this. They probably want to finish this by the second pair. Make sure that the first two pairs get 20, and then make sure that they, get the last two skins. But it depends how the Jaguars start here. If they get on top early, then it'll be a really good game on our hands.
Yeah, that's it. The joys once you pass that total, indoor cricket is still not over. So for the Jaguars, they want to bring the game into that last pair and put the pressure and have that scoreboard pressure. Bit interesting here with indoor cricket. The lower the score, the more interesting the game. So we'll see how James Dyer starts up here bowling to Francis Mason. Down and up on the offside. Good start from Mason. He'll be happy with that.
Yeah, that's definitely a confidence booster. Nice bit of shape away, but perhaps just a bit too short.
Another 2 runs there. So as we look at some of the sponsors for the teams, the Jaguars are sponsored by Meeting Room, which is ironically sitting right underneath us here at the centre. So it's
brilliant food.
A brilliant food that sits underneath the centre here. Plenty of visitors there.
And look, I'm happy to get a free meal for giving that plug.
And then, as we mentioned earlier, the Southern Cross Cricket and Sportsman's Warehouse sponsoring 2 different sides here in this competition for the NICL. One of them, the newly branded Conquerors. So always appreciate the support of our sponsors. Terrific shot finding the wire there. James Dyer really upset with that one. Great shot.
Francis just having a nice little jog through, and you always enjoy that after hitting a really solid down up like that.
Yeah, Down and up, kept to 1 though. And just too far outside off here, James Dyer. I'm not sure how many games of indoor he's played since coming from the outdoor season. So very much an outdoor line here. We need to find his way into the body. Fuller delivery, down and up on the leg side. There's a terrific shot. Francis Mason, in his comeback year, playing Masters this year, he is looking fantastic as the Conquerors make 9 off the first over.
And it's quite hard, and personally as an outswinger in indoor cricket, it's quite difficult because, you know, more often than not, hitting that hip, especially to a right-hander, is something that it really creates difficulties for them. So as an outswinger, you don't have a lot of options in that it's, if you are getting the ball to swing, you probably need to come around the wicket, or you need to have so much control and faith that you will swing the ball that you need to start it wider. But often when you try and start wider down leg side, you won't get the same amount of swing. So,
and we talked about, and we saw that with Phil Marchant when he was bowling for the Conquerors as an outswinger coming around the wicket. Young Dan Osher with his first delivery here. Francis Mason down and up 2 on the offside.
I think it's interesting considering the start that the Conquerors have got. I probably would have put one of my stronger bowlers on now. You don't really want to follow 2 overs up, and obviously Dan's quite a young player, a bit inexperienced, and he might feel a little bit dominant. As you can see, he's kind of just getting through his balls so far. I mean, he's only bowled 2, but he doesn't seem to be taking a moment and really kind of changing the pace of the game.
Yeah, and as you can see, he's a bit hesitant at the moment, but he has found the pitch. Into the legs, much better delivery there from Osher.
That's a much better ball in that he's attacking the stumps now, and the line of his ball is much better, where earlier he was a little bit too short and he was outside off, so it's good to see the change.
Attacking those stumps and bringing all methods of dismissal into play here, Osher. Let's see if he can do it again this delivery. Not much room there for him to play down the leg side, but still gets the 1 there. Francis Mason batting very well here.
The boys look to be doing it easy so far at the start of this pair. I mean, to be 14 before the end of the second over, it's, yeah, that's a fantastic start, and with no risk as well. Outside
off again, gets a bit of extra bounce there. Gets the ball away. It'll be interesting to say, for me, I would say the Jaguars bowlers that I'm looking for them to bring on would be a Preston Hart or a John Harris, someone who's get a bit of extra pace, a bit of extra bounce, and can make life difficult for this batting pair. It played flat into the leg side.
And that's better. When he made the change to have 2 on the leg side, in the first ball he bowled, it was not exactly what he wanted, but then that ball he actually played it a much better line, and then created doubt in the batter's mind.
So Francis Mason here on 10, Phil Marchant on 6 for 16. Great start in the first 2 overs here. As we see young Owen Levings come to the back of the court. Owen, as we said, I believe he's under 17s player now. A lot of variance. Doesn't get the ball down too quickly, but it has a lot of variable deliveries. In swinging delivery wide of the crease, cramping him up a bit there.
And I think probably the key thing right now is that there's been a couple of small opportunities in the field which haven't been taken, but also the fielders haven't had a lot come their way.
Yeah, you can see the big difference between the opportunities the Conquerors managed to earn for themselves as Leving slides down the leg side. Into the legs again, bring that leg side field into play.
And that's a much better line that you want to be bowling and get your field involved. But fantastic discussion between the batting pair, and they have obviously good communication, and that's fantastic.
That's an off-cutter delivery, moves down the leg side. Leving's very disappointed in himself there. He is coming very wide of the crease to produce a big angle there, so that accentuates the movement that you'll see from that off-cutting delivery. And he pushes down leg side again. Probably just wanting it a bit too much at the moment, Owen Levings. Just needs to take a breath and relax at the back and find his mark in the final ball of this over here. Back on the mark, we played down and up on the leg side. Good shot from Francis Mason. He has been terrific so far.
It's making it look easy at the moment.
It's a big over and a big choice here because the Conquerors could very easily take the game away from the Jaguars early on in the piece here. So we'll see what they come, and we see Sam Dwyer, who's one of the ACT Rockets, come into the backcourt, and that shows just how big of a moment it is at the moment.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit too late for this first pair. I think they kind of set it up with three sort of, not weak, but weaker choices when it comes to bowling and inexperience. And I think they probably needed, after the first over, someone to come on and really restrict and get the momentum, because they haven't had that all game so far.
As Sam comes in for his first delivery. And you can just see the difference in pace and movement there. I mean, he didn't hit his mark there, but it's just a big change up, and Francis not able to execute it down up on the offside. Oh, that's a good ball there. Solid call there. Good one run as they go on to 27, the Conquerors.
And I think the thing is for those who don't know, in the fourth over, if you bowl an extra, such as a wide or a no ball, it can be re-bowled by the batting team. And so often you have captains who are hesitant to give some less consistent bowlers that fourth over, because they are likely to get a couple more re-bowls.
Yeah. Full delivery. Phil Marsh and I'm going to get on top of it.
But as you can see, so far this over, they've only got one run off of it. And had they had this in the second over, it could have, meant that perhaps they're only getting 10-15 in this pair, and it can just change the momentum of the game.
And down and up there just for a single. Nice little dive there from Francis Mason. And he's getting ready to go to Nationals, as you can see. Did not expect that to come from him, with Sam having two balls remaining in his over. That's a bit shorter, played very well. Good movement of the body to get the bat in the position to play the shot there. Francis, he's been the standout batsman for me so far in this game.
Final ball of this pair.
And driven hard, great hands from Harris. But that'll see the Conquerors finish on 29 for the first pair. Big change up from the first pair for the Jaguars, which ended up on -3.
And Sam went for 3 that over, and I think it's, I can't emphasise this enough. Like, he really needed to come on much sooner, because now the Conquerors are in a position where they can change up their batting order. They don't need to look to kind of build. Now they can actually go for this skin and not worry too much of the outcome of the game, because their first pair has put them in such a fantastic position. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to come out all guns blazing, the Jaguars in this one, to contain these guys early, because Jason Hayes is a fantastic batter, and Alex Kwong can hold his own as well. So I think they really need to do something special to begin.
Yeah, and I believe Captain Brockwinkler, he has definitely come out here to take the game right now. Jason Hayes, incredible batsman, and Alex Wong, no slouch either. So you can see how big of a moment this is for the Jaguars. I've talked earlier about Harris. He's coming on the bowl now. Big windmill action, gets a lot of bounce, gets a lot of movement. So this will be a good battle between some Masters players this over.
When you're 10 foot tall, you can get extra bounce, can't you?
Harris with his first delivery. He pushes down leg side, called leg side by our umpire, Andrew Hall-Villiers. Not the start that Harris would have wanted.
And that's much better there from the Jaguars. Nice line. As we said, Jason's quite a talented batter, but even that's a little bit difficult for him to get away. So you just need to be right on the mark from the get-go, especially with a team as talented as the Conquerors.
Harris coming in here for his third delivery. That's down the leg side, but inside that little line that you see there, so that's a fair delivery. And that brings up third ball. So once again, for those not avid followers of indoor cricket, that little inside mark is where the wide line is down the leg side. Fulham wide. And great shot there from Jason Hayes. So the bowler there, Harris, he's looking to go full and wide to give his wicketkeeper, Billy Flores, an opportunity to make a play. Given that they have to run, it does present a big opportunity for the run out, but great shot from Hayes. And good ball there into the hip, into those two fielders on the leg side.
And for mine, they just haven't done that enough today. There's been a lot of extras, but then also there's been a lot that's short outside off, and that's the easiest shot to get away for a down up.
Oh, that's a terrific delivery. Well kept up from Alex Kwong. 4 off the over, and I think that's a bit of a victory there for the Conquerors as we look at the replay of that delivery.
And they really needed that for the start. Only 4 off the over, and this second over now starts with the third ball. So I think they've done really well in starting this pair, but they need to apply that pressure and keep it going.
Yeah, and we still do have a bit of experience and a bit of youth to come for the Conquerors. So, as I said, the game is never over here in indoor cricket. Owen Leving is coming on for his second over. He'll throw up a bit of variation here. We'll see how that goes against the hard-hitting Hayes. Third ball delivery. All the pace off that ball, played flat into the leg side, gets away for 2.
And that's very clever from Owen just then. The batter was probably going to look for it to come harder and to use that pace to get it down up into the leg side, and to change it up was very clever.
And Alex Kwong, a lot of movement down leg side trying to free up his arms, and Owen Havings follow him all the way down. So some interesting cricket there.
I actually saw it a lot last night from him. He's not a big fan of the ball going into his legs, and he likes to open up that offside a little bit more.
Yeah, played down and up on the offside there for 2. A better over here from Leving so far.
Yeah, it's a much better start, and they really need to look at getting a wicket here.
Yeah, the Conquerors edging closer and closer to that total the Jaguars set earlier. Played in the legs. Good solid call of no there from the non-strikers end.
And even in small things like that, the Conquerors would have that ball snaffled up and straight back to the back sticks at the time. So I think it's just things like that can change momentum.
A poor delivery there, and Alex Kwong takes full advantage, passing the Jaguars total with a massive 7. There's the replay as you see the back net shaking. He hit that very hard.
Lovely shot there by Jason Hayes. One of the best exponents of leg side down up that I've ever seen.
Yeah, Jason Hayes, that was an incredible shot there. Close to the wire, not quite there, but that is an amazing shot. And the ability to manipulate his body to get in the position to play that shot is something that takes a lot of time to learn. So the Conquerors are now 6 runs ahead of the Jaguars total as Jake Flores comes to the back of the net. Captain looking to take a few wickets here and get his team back in the game.
And you can probably see there's been a couple of changes around. Billy has come out from keeper. I don't know if that's just as Jake is bowling or if that might be a change that might be made for the rest of the game.
Jake swinging delivery outside off, down and up. Jake Flores usually comes very wide of the crease as well. Big swinger of the ball. Does have a few change-ups, so we'll see what he'll do here to Alex Kwong. Swinging into that off stump. Down and up for 1 on the offside from Kwong.
And I'm not sure if it's evident on the camera, but the Jaguars are very deflated at the moment. Body language has kind of shown that the game's gone, even though it's not completely gone. And
yeah, it'll be still interesting here. So that's a close decision and given out by Andrew Horvelius. Will that bring them back into this pair, Claire Koski?
You'd like to think so, but my gut says no, and Alex is a little bit bewildered on that one. He thought he was back. I think it was a good call.
We'll back Andrew Horvelius, the best umpire in the world, so I believe he'll always be right in my eyes. But the interesting one here, Claire, is the partnership. So the skin is on the line here. Conquerors trying to make 30, so that is what the Jaguars will be playing for right now. Down up on the offside for 2. So those not experienced in indoor cricket, each pair goes up against each other through the innings. So as you can see on the score, if the Conquerors manage to get past that pair of 30, they'll earn 1 competition point. Swinging delivery into the legs, played into the offside, flat. No, sorry, leg side, apologies.
And I think some people also might think, you know, that's 13 runs and you've only got 7 balls to get there, but it doesn't require trying to hit the back net every ball. You can easily get there by hitting 2 each ball.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they attack the skin. And a poor ball there, down and up on the offside. Bread and butter indoor cricket there from Alex Kwong. So that'll leave a position there with 11 runs needed for the skin. So if it does tie, it jackpots to the next pair. So whoever wins the next pair gets both of the points there. So it'll be an interesting approach to see how they go about it. And Sam Dwyer, who bowled quite well in his first overs, coming to the back of the court, and that shows just how much the Jaguars want this pair.
And that's the thing is, you know, the game, yes, obviously you want to win the whole game. You want to have the more runs on the complete board, you know, at the end of the game. But the skins are actually really important. They come down to, you know, some positions of trying to make finals comes down to 1 or 2 points. So skins are very important in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, good delivery to start there from Sam Dwyer. 2 a ball required from the Conquerors here to tie that skin from here on out. Attacked hard, played flat through the offside. 3 runs scored.
I think Jason will probably try and keep it quite simple here. If the ball's in the slot, I think he'll go and try and make it a bit easier for the pair. But I think he'll try and keep it quite simple and very measured.
A bit out of shape there, Jason Hayes. Dot ball, down and up through the middle of the pitch. Shorter delivery, close on the leg side. Sam Dwyer not too happy with that call, a little bit disappointed in himself as well. That gives the option for the ball to be re-bowled, as we spoke about, which Jason Hayes has elected to do.
And Jason might still be in outdoor mode a little bit, trying to take a swing at that for 6.
They played down and up there on the leg side. Good fielding from young Osher. Probably took a little bit too long to release the ball there, but good movement initially. That's 2 balls remaining. 4 needed to tie the skin and 5 runs to take it. Shorter delivery. Kwong didn't look too comfortable. Massive appeal there, but given not out. As the man, as I mentioned earlier, affectionately named as Dog, having a laugh.
It's always good to have a laugh at yourself. I don't think he expected it to get up that high. He is a tall fella, so to get it at his face, it was a decent ball.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise there. 1 ball remaining as we see the Jaguars just take their time resetting the stumps here.
And I think the Conquerors will be happy to tie this, especially with the next skin being only 7 runs.
Sam Dwyer with the final delivery of this pair. Played through. My view was obscured there, Claire. Was it 1 run or 2?
Yeah, I believe it was 1 run, just getting the claw out there and keeping it off the net.
And we'll go to the replay there just to have a look at it, but that will mean the skin and the 1 point there goes to the Jaguars. As we look at the replay, good bit of fielding there, good movement, and those moments are always tense because you've got to expect the ball coming for you to be able to execute it. So a good little mini win for the Jaguars in a game where they'll be looking to take as many skins as possible.
Looks like Billy Flores coming to the back.
So Billy traditionally bowls off spin, big floating off spinners, which are very difficult to get away. And it'll be the inexperienced pair of Kyle Hyson and Ryan Hayes. So Ryan will have to guide Kyle through this, and we'll see how they go.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting decision, considering the position that they're in currently. You know, I wouldn't have minded sending out maybe Brock with Kyle, you know, just giving him a bit more experience, and especially with the likes of Billy bowling now.
And just in that gap we talked about earlier, behind the legs, fair delivery. Off the leg there, good call from Andrew Horvilliers. Half an appeal there from the Jaguars as we look at the replay, bringing a third ball situation up.
I think the key thing with facing Billy is making sure that you go one way or the other. You either go at it hard or you go back hard.
Yeah. Oh, it's a big turning delivery. Oh, and it's a drop catch there from young Daniel Osher. Really well earned. He came into the front court as he was supposed to do and unable to find his way back just out of reach.
And as you can see, Ryan's footwork just a little bit all over the shop at the moment. He doesn't know whether to get back or forward.
Down and up flat on the offside, easy play, an easy run out there. Miscommunication from the batting pair, and this is what we were talking about, the young inexperienced pair. Can the Jaguars take advantage and get themselves back in the game?
And even though he didn't quite get the way he wanted to, Kyle at least made a really positive move backwards and was able to get on top of the ball. And I think he'll be able to use that and the next ball that he faces, take some confidence from that. And
in terms of development for the juniors, playing on a live stream here against such experienced players, there's not many more opportunities that are going to make them better cricketers. Advance, side back 4 from Ryan Hayes, following his father's footsteps, but not making as much contact, getting a bit lucky there, but 4 runs to the pair. An attack falls just short of the bowler, Billy Flores. Kyle Hyson getting away with that, that's the end of the over.
And I'd be interested to see how they go after this one. You know, body language is always a pretty good indicator of where a player is at, and Kyle is obviously quite frustrated with himself and perhaps the way the pair has started so far. So I think anyone with a bit of experience might just give him a bit of chirp now.
Yeah, and here's the experience and a big strike bowler for the Jaguars in Preston Hart coming on a bowl. You'll see his Fred Flintstone feet when he starts. Or potentially might be bowling spin here. I'm not sure. He's got a shorter run up. We'll see how we go.
Well, after how the pair just played then, it's actually not a bad idea, but it doesn't seem like... He did have a bit of a hobble when he was batting, so perhaps that's maybe affecting. Oh, and he's just had a little... Is that like a donkey kick?
Yeah, so Preston traditionally will come out of the corner, get a bit of fast feet and come steaming in. So maybe that leg injury is a bit more than we noted.
That's a tight call. But as long as he sticks to it the whole game, right?
Call of fair by Andrew Horvilliers down the leg side. Played flat. Oh, very close, but not taken cleanly there from Osher, unable to execute the run out.
And as you can see, the Jaguars are just a little sloppy in the field. They're not finishing plays cleanly, you know, which was evident in the play before that one. And then a bit of fumble there, which has cost the run out.
A third ball opportunity here for the Jaguars. Hit flat to the back net. That is a good shot. Ryan Hayes, he'll be very happy with that 7.
And that was lovely contact. It sounded great off the bat.
Hyson facing the last ball here of the over. Inside edge, unable to get back contact, but that brings this pair after 2 overs onto 13, 6 ahead of the other pair. So a good start here for the inexperienced duo of Hyson and Hayes.
And Jason Hayes just calling the boys over to have a bit of a chat and probably chat about, you know, making sure that the conversation that they're having is you know, very clear. It's either yes or no, and the eye contact, and then also about their way that they're going to play Billy here.
Yeah, and Billy Flores, he smells a wicket here. He's coming on to try and get them to play shots and to produce chances for his side as they look to try and get this pair back into single digits and hopefully bring that skin into play. And good solid contact down and up on the leg side.
Ryan's obviously taken some confidence from that 70s hit, and he made a very confident step back, and that's why he was able to get over top of the ball straight away.
Left-handed Hyson coming on strike here. A big turning delivery, looking to play that on the leg, but way too much turn. Very difficult to get on top of that extra bounce as well, which is coming from that Burleigh indoor cricket ball play.
Well, I think he was probably early through the shot anyways.
There it is. That's what he would have preferred. Shot down and up on the offside.
A little bit quicker from Billy there.
Yeah, a bit quicker. Tried to catch him on the back foot. Hyacinth will be happy with that. Attacked. Oh, that's another chance gone begging there at the leg guard position. Frustration from Billy Flores there.
I'm not great at maths, but we're kind of looking at a 20-30% execution rate of their dismissals at the moment, aren't we?
Very poor. That would bring them right back into this game, Claire.
And they're just key things that you need to be executing, especially when you're defending a total as low as the Jaguars are at the moment.
Pressure still on here. Flores coming around the wicket still. Attacks the pack. Oh, that is an incredible shot. 7 runs for Hyacinth as well. This young pair just playing without fear, Claire.
Yeah, and that's great to see, especially after you've had a couple of balls that you haven't played too well, especially against Billy. And then to come out and place such a nice shot to the back net, it's really great to see. Yeah,
we see the replay there. Solid contact all the way through, and one way to finish that over. Great stuff as the Conquerors move on to 84, an incredible total. James Dyer coming to the back of the court for his second over, last over of this pair. A good start there for Dyer. Looking at how he bowled in his first over, I think he'd prefer to be bowling to a left-hander here, bringing it back into the body. So we'll see what he can do here against Hyacinth. Bit of a deep breath there from Hyacinth. If you heard that noise, I don't have to describe what that was. That he's staying tough. Played upish, and we've got one there at the leg side. Osher will be happy with that. Hyacinth looking to move away, but not playing down into the ground, and that's a wicket there for the Jaguars. Dyer's going to have to adjust here, the right-hander. Always good having a right-hand, left-hand combination when you're batting. Pushes down the leg side, called fair from Andrew Horvers, but as you can see, that adjustment of having to bowl to the right-hander and left-hander has just skewed where he's delivering that ball. Very close decision.
Yeah, I don't think it was that close. Sorry, Andy. But,
yeah, Andy will be rewatching that. I'm quite happy to call that leg side as well. And a big call of leg side from Andy there.
That's right. I'll give him my notes later.
So the Conquerors, given this is the last over of the pair, they have the opportunity to re-bowl all these deliveries.
Lovely shot there by Ryan Hayes.
And he's come out and he's really impressed me, Ryan Hayes. I didn't think he'd be as dominant and as capable as he has been. Always capable of playing the shots, but just had a bit of inconsistency in the past. And he's has been just as capable as Mason, who was opening the batting.
Quite a solid way to finish the over and the pair. Some people might be thinking, well, they didn't get a run. Well, they don't need to get a run, but also you prefer to have a ball where if someone's bowled a ball well, which they're allowed to do, that you play it with respect and don't lose a wicket for no reason. Yeah, and the difficulties continue here for the Jaguars with current Australian men's player and Conquerors captain, who will be joining us on commentary for the next game, Claire, Brock Winkler, coming out to bat alongside under-21s player Brad Kwong. You won't miss the difference on them. Brad Kwong a little bit bigger than Brock Winkler, I would say. Yeah, probably Brock thinks he's about as big as Brad Kwong. But no, he's actually, I will give this. Brock understands how skinny he is. The other day he said that he turned sideways and disappeared. So he's quite realistic, which is good. Yeah, Harris coming on to bowl here at Brock Winkler. Yeah, great start there. Bit of an appeal there, but I think it might have just clipped his leg he went through. Either that or Brock made contact with the ground. As we see the Assassins sides and the Wolves sides starting arriving for the next match. Claire, you'll be playing in that match. What are your thoughts heading into it? I don't really know, to be honest. I just like turning up and playing. I try and keep things very simple. Yeah, I think that's one thing I'm known for in cricket is I don't make it too complicated. I just turn up and play, and I love playing, especially in Canberra. It's great playing with the fellas, so they look after me, which is great.
Yeah, and in the outdoor world, we talked about the Melbourne Renegades, but you also play for the ACT Meteors here. As someone who plays in both worlds, what are your thoughts transitioning from outdoor to indoor?
I've definitely over the years learnt how to transition a little bit better. For me, it's essentially playing the same shots just a little bit later, and I also do enjoy hitting the back net anyways, so that keeps me quite ready to go for outdoor anyway. But no, I love playing indoor, and as much as it's cricket, it's a completely different world. It's a completely different game, and if I've had a little bit of enough of outdoor cricket and come into indoor, it's fresh and it's really wonderful to play. So. I definitely encourage. I know there's a bit of thoughts that, perhaps indoor cricket's not the best for your batting technique for outdoor, but if you teach the kids the right way to bat when it comes to indoor, you're not changing your shot, you're just playing it later, it's not as detrimental. So I think probably the way we coach is probably more key than the way we play.
So for those young ones who might be looking to get into indoor cricket, what are your advices for them to change their techniques in, or how to adapt themselves into the new environment?
I think probably not staying exclusively to one sport. So, sometimes I will have a hit of outdoor cricket during the indoor cricket season, and just by challenging myself often and doing it more often, I then increase my capability to be able to adapt quicker. If I just sit and just practice indoor cricket the whole indoor cricket season, I'm not in a good position, and then it won't set me up well then to be able to transition for outdoor cricket, because sometimes there is such a quick changeover between the end of indoor cricket season and outdoor cricket. So I think challenge yourself as much as you possibly can, as often as you possibly can. That'd be the big thing for me, and be excited by the challenge. Everyone kind of goes, I want to avoid something that's uncomfortable. Well, the best way to be a better cricketer is do the uncomfortable things, and you'll become better.
Yeah, and certainly we've seen at a national tournament just the atmosphere that those sort of things have, and just how beneficial it is for them to be playing. I mean, we have some 15-year-old kids playing on a live stream around Australia. That's an incredible experience for them, something they'll always remember. But that's the kind of opportunities that indoor cricket provides for its players.
Yeah, and it's great. Cricket Australia is really investing in indoor cricket, and the fact that, everyone actually gets to watch around Australia, it's really improving the game and giving these kids this opportunity to be able to, check out what this game is about. It's not always the same as, weeknight cricket where some people just try and hit the back net all the time. There really is an art to it.
As we come back into the game now, thank you very much for your thoughts there, Claire. Trying to keep this skin alive here, the Conquerors, but very, very, very fearsome batting pair for them to do that. As the Conquerors are edging towards 100, and we talked about the average score being about 60 or 70. I think that really shows the difference in the performance from both sides today.
Yeah, and I think, perhaps, as we've mentioned earlier, there are a couple of players missing. A fantastic shot, but also a fantastic piece of fielding there as Osher bowls a front foot no ball as well. I think, there's the young and inexperienced kids in this team, but then also just the fielding has not been as clean, and they've missed plenty of opportunities and put them in not a great position, unfortunately. So I think just the fact that you saw the Conquerors execute more often than not, that maintains pressure, and that makes players panic, and then that brings upon more dismissals. So
yeah, and we saw that exclusively in that first pair of the opening stanza, where that pressure in that field brought about those run-outs, and building that pressure produced the wickets. And that's how we're talking about bowling to your field. That is exclusively the results, and you can see just the impact that had on the whole game.
And as soon as you have a couple of run-outs, the batters then start to question their communication with each other, and they start making mistakes when it comes to their calls. So I think that hasn't been done in this innings. Trying not to be too hard on the Jaguars, but unfortunately their fielding has been sloppy, and it's been the reason that the Conquerors very well might get past 100.
Yeah, Conquerors will go to the top of the table here and stay undefeated. Not bad for a new franchise. You'll be happy with that. That's a great start to the season for them. But the Jaguars, who are missing one or two players here, I believe Tyler Van Leeuwen, who's an ACT Rockets player, isn't here today. They'll still sit in a solid position in second heading into it. And it's quite an extraordinary circumstance to see the Wolves and Assassins, as I mentioned earlier, two sides that have been the dominant sides in NICL, both without a win, heading into the main rivalry of indoor cricket here locally in the ACT.
But I think that probably talks to the level of cricket in Canberra. You know, like you've got two teams that were in the finals last year and, you know, haven't registered a win yet. And that's because players are constantly working on their game and they're constantly getting better and the teams are very evenly matched.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to see here, is that is the greatest indoor cricket shot you could imagine. Down, up, side, back, four, that is the best shot you can hope for as a batsman.
Oh, I'd like to be a little bit better and not hit the side net at all, but still a very beautiful shot.
Worked in the offside there. Big appeal. Given not out by Andrew Hall-Villiers.
Brock made that look very, very easy.
Yeah. Brock very quick between the wickets as well. Hong plays down and up into the leg side. Good way to clear his body there for a big fella, with one ball remaining in the second last over of the game.
And the Conquerors making this look quite easy here.
Oh, just almost stuck under the bat as Billy Flores sarcastically appeals. With one over remaining, dominant victory here from the Conquerors. They'll just look to play these final 6 balls out. What are your thoughts, Claire, on having to take on this side moving on to through the competition?
Well, we took them on last night, and we had actually quite a close game. And you know, the good thing is we know where we went wrong last night. We did exactly as the first pair for the Jaguars did. We panicked and then started questioning our calls between the wickets. And I think if we just address that, make sure we do the real simple things right, I think it's going to be a really good match, and I definitely think we can take them.
Yeah, and moving in, I'll ask for your predictions for the next match between the Wolves and the Assassins. No pressure. What is your thoughts with no bias at all, please, Miss Koski?
Yeah, look, the Assassins are just going to kill them. Look, it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, the Wolves have the Flores clan, who are very, very talented and work together really well. But, you know, we've got Lukey Ryan, who's obviously an incredibly talented player, Vinesh Bennett, and we've got a couple of youngsters coming through of Dean Wheelwright and Zach Marin. So, yeah, there's plenty of options there, and I think either way it's going to be a good game, and I'd love to definitely come out on top with our first win.
Yeah, so for those not knowing the history, the Wolves have won the NICL here in the ACT for the past 2 seasons. Is it the chance for another team to shine as we tune in for the next game? Third ball situation here, 3 balls left. Jake Flores bowling to Brock Winkler. Oh, solid contact. Osher not knowing where that was coming. We see the Conquerors move on to 111. That is an incredible total. And we talked about the batting strength of the Conquerors, but the consistency in looking at those scores across the board, 29, 29, 25 and 28 currently, that just shows it's been an all-round performance from the side.
Billy Flores saying it was a good ball before the ball even got to Brad then. Yeah, I think they'll be really pleased with their performance today. They were excellent in the field, probably only missing a couple of opportunities, and you know, that's to be expected. And then such a comprehensive batting performance today, so they'll be very pleased. Still look to improve on certain things, but yeah, it's hard to improve on that.
And that brings us to the end of the game there. 111 to the Conquerors, 41 to the Jaguars. A dominant victory from the Conquerors, as I mentioned, a new franchise here in the NICL. They'll be very happy with their results. Just like to say on behalf of myself, thank you, Claire Koski.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to our Sportscast partners here producing this for you, and we'll be back to join you in the next game, not too shortly, in half an hour.